Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. Welcome. My name is Greta. I'm a healer, and this is a love and relationship reading that is part of the ongoing healing process unfolding here on the channel. So we are going to be looking at the theme of departure, which is a value-based shift away from how the status quo is currently doing things, and within the context of relationships, that would be a value-based shift away from the status quo of love and relating on the planet at this time. And so week 2, week 11 of the general and overall process, and we are looking at purpose. So purpose within the context of relationships. I'm going to bring through messages here, and then afterwards I'm going to co-create an intuitive healing with spirit over on my Patreon that follows on the energies of this reading. So let's get right to it. Let's look and see what we spirit has. We have trust your own understanding. Beautiful. This was actually at the bottom of the deck before I started. So something that was at the bottom is not now rising to the top. We've got culmination of vision. Oh, I like this. And we have got inner truths. Wow. Okay. I know exactly where spirit is taking this. It's not always the case, but it's nice when it is. And I think that's part of the message. My love, the spirit is saying that when it comes to love and relationships, you have your own perception, your own understanding, your own conception of what relationships are, and especially of the purpose of relationships. I have a general purpose that I do share here on the channel, but spirit is saying it's not that. It's not something that's overarching or general. It's very subjective. This is your own truth about what love is, what relationships are, how they should work, how they should unfold, who with, at what times, in what ways. It's like your own encyclopedia on relationships that you have crafted and you have created over the course of your life. And spirit is talking about trusting it and relying on it because it's going to help you, it's going to serve you. Now, with culmination of vision, spirit is talking about how you're about to come into a space and a place where that knowledge, that understanding is going to culminate and arrive at something bigger for you. That's why it's important that you trust it at this time, because it's about to take you to the next level. It's about to really, really culminate. And so how you've been pursuing relationships for most of your life is about to make sense at a higher level and at a greater degree. And when you read the text for culmination of vision, this is a card that talks about when we are tested in our beliefs and our understandings of something, right? So we are following through on an endeavor, a project, and then along the way, our values are tested. So maybe we don't believe in slave labor, but the only thing producer we can find uses slave labor. It would be like that, right? Values are challenged. But what about my dream? What about my values? What about my intentions? And so on and so forth. And this is a card that talks about staying true to your values and your intentions. Now, again, within the context of relationships, there's something that you believe, which again, I didn't even use that as an example because spirit is telling me to kind of stay the hell out of there. It's your space, it's your place, it's for you to know, it's for you to inhabit fully. And again, you're at a time right now where that authentic perspective is about to culminate in a deep vision, and it's going to reveal something very profound about who you are and about your life. There's something in relationships where you've had certain experiences that have colored how you think about yourself, how you think about your world, your life, what your purpose is, because we are talking about purpose, or even the purpose of relationships. But there's been some kind of infiltration, and you're arriving here at not just one truth, but lots of different kinds of truths, which is a really beautiful state to be in, because we tend to think that things are black and white. But I feel like the truth that you're going to arrive at, the understanding you're going to arrive at, is going to allow you to see maybe relationships one way, then romantic relationships another way, then family relationships, work relationships, and so on. There's lots of different realms and spaces within relationships and relating in general that you're going to be able to put in the right place, to see in the right perspective, from the right frame. And again, from this quite central understanding. And so I've brought out the Oceanic Tarot, and when it comes out, we're going to be looking at you, your energy, more specifically, where you've been and what you've experienced in relationships, because I feel like it is fundamentally affecting this. Only four, correct? Yes. So this one is out. What is out? Three of Wands, motivation. So there's also an old motivation and motivator in relationships that you are going to be letting go of. So, we've got the Star, Major Arcana, the Star. And it says hope in this deck. No? Well, we'll cycle back around. Intuitively, it does speak to there being some lack of clarity. Even though the energy is direct, it's not upside down, but there's some lack of clarity around that. It's not just my camera skills there. We've got Page of Pentacles upside down with opportunity. Let's run through them here and now. We've got, of course, Major Arcana number 16, the Tower. We have got the Nine of Swords with anxiety, which is a card that it came up in the life reading also at the last spot. And in general, it's been coming up in the readings a lot, but it was upside down in the life readings. So where are we going to start with this? I do feel like I want to start with the Tower. Since I'm asking, I'm starting somewhere else. I want to start with the Tower. And the Tower is talking about how there is an energy, a transformative energy that wants to come into our life to save a sinking ship here on the... Ooh, that was blinding. There's some level on which relationships just have not been working for you. On some level and in some way. And when a Major Arcana shows up to deliver that message, it's talking about at a fundamental level. So that the greater purpose of relationships for you has not been fulfilling yourself in this life. So whatever that purpose reveals itself to be, whatever that greater understanding reveals itself to be, it is going to be something that is foundational, fundamental, and that touches the scope of all relationships in your life, like I was saying, with the different truths. And it is going to be changing and transformative, but it's going to be, again, also a revelation. It's going to be fundamentally about something that's not been working. So it's not going to be like, oh my God, I've been doing relationships exactly the way that I want to. It might be, but it would more be like, I've been participating in relationships, but it hasn't been working for me. There's something that's just been foundationally unstable. And for some of you, it can even be disastrous, having led to relationships that were highly damaging, very disastrous, very costly is the word that's coming in. And again, that could be emotionally costly, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially even, creatively, at just lots of different levels. From there, we've got an opportunity. Whatever you discover, it's going to create an instant opportunity, an instant reason to do it in a different way. Page of Pentacles for me is our plans. When I see the Page of Pentacles upside down, there's change of plans. And so if you were planning to do something at the relational level, to experience it in a certain way, you're going to change your plans. You're going to approach it from a different perspective. And he's holding that pentacle. And we have I think it's a tortoise when they're in water, but there's a notion here of protection under a lot of pressure. So you might feel a lot of pressure when you decide to take it in a different direction, in a different way. So for example, it would be like realizing that a lot of the people you've been relying on just have not been wholesome, and they just haven't been a very good influence in your life. And so those relationships have been undermining you while they were relationships that you were investing in, that you were relying on. And then all of a sudden, change of plans. So maybe we can't live together anymore. We're not going to go on vacation together anymore alone for a month, and so on and so forth. I am not speaking from experience, but it would be those kinds of things. It's a little bit, par for the course. It's part of growing up. And there is this message here that there is some kind of inner growth spiritual growth that is going on that is really going to shift and change your world. But as much as it's going to require you to do things in a different way, to change certain plans, it is also going to bring a lot of hope into your life. This is not a revelation and epiphany that leads to you feeling despondent. Even if you're like, oh my God, tower energy, which comes first the tower, then the star. So this tower energy comes in, oh my God, my foundation, oh my God, the people I've relied on, oh my God, the way I've done, oh my God, whatever it is, right? There's an oh my God moment. It's not one where you want to lock yourself in a room in the dark. It's one where you see light and you see a way forward and you see, it can be different, it can be better, and it's something destined for me. And this is really the thing. Spirit wouldn't show you something without it being on your path, without it being for you. And this is the realization that there's something truly beautiful, truly amazing, truly profound that is for you in relationships. And if you already have that awareness, if you already feel like you're moving towards these bigger, brighter, truer, more aligned relationships, then this is a clarification of that. And it feels very much in awareness, like you're embodying it so much more in your reality. And maybe even also a fleshing out of what that would look like, what that would be. Now, Nine of Swords, Spirit is saying watch out. Nine of Swords is, for me, a self-destructive energy. You have got to watch out for self-destructive energy. We internalize a lot of crap. To put it in technical terms, we internalize a lot of, again, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial, sexual, creative crap. It's things that are just old, outworn energy that doesn't work for us, and it can even work against us. And this is speaking to this. You are going to have patterns where on some levels you would blame yourself, you would be ashamed, you would be anxious, you would be scared. Again, that feeling of wanting to go into the dark room and hide. You might even want to go into denial. And you've got to watch out for those energies, because they're going to be part of taking in this new truth, whatever it is. So if you are finding a calling into a higher level of relationships, you're equally going to meet an energy inside that is going to try to dissuade you from it. Really? But maybe I'm being selfish, or maybe I'm thinking that I'm too good, or I'm thinking that I'm the shiznit, right? It's this energy of the ego, and how the ego goes between the two extremes. I am the best thing ever. I am nothing. I'm worthless. And so you're going to be caught in that seesaw. That it's either going to tell you that you're amplifying your value, or telling you that to devalue your value. So it's just gonna go that your patterns are gonna get in the way. Essentially, that's what Spirit is saying. Watch out for your patterns. They're gonna get in the way, and they're going to try to convince you that you're wrong, that you shouldn't believe it, that you should stay in the status quo, you should go back to it, that you should pretend, that you should deny, that you should avoid, that you're not good enough, whatever it is. It's gonna tell you lots and lots and lots of stories. And Spirit is saying to be aware, right? Be aware of what's talking. It's like one of those things where if you know the source, you're immediately going to know how to place the message. You're going to be able to see the truth of the message just from understanding where it's coming from, right? Oh, this is not well-meaning energy inside of me that's trying to protect me from getting hurt. It's my patterns trying to remind me and keep me down and tell me that I'm crap. See, there you go. Another technical term. So that being said, let's keep going. Let's see what we have. We have surrender your attachment to results. I love that. We have, surrender to miracles. Oh, look at you. By all means. By all means. And then finally, we've got surrender unhealthy relationships. Well, yeah. That had to be part of this message. Now, surrender your attachment to results. I'm not going to read the text because the message is coming through in a little different way. What Spirit is saying, it's surrender your attachment to the same results. Relationships have followed, by and large, a very similar pattern in your life. That's what the understanding is going to show. It could be something core, it could be something in the way that it unfolds, and how you communicate, and how you show up, whatever it is, right? There's going to be just this pattern, this ongoing way of doing things, that is a fundamental understanding that you're going to be clear on. And what part of it, and part of what Spirit really wants you to understand, is that the results that you've experienced in relationships have been the expression of this ongoing pattern, ongoing path, ongoing dynamic. It's been in the energy, and therefore it's been manifesting. But because you're shifting out of that energy, because you're ditching it, you're shifting your understanding, and you're trusting and believing in that understanding and allowing it to lead you forward in culmination, then what follows is this great hope and a change of plans, a change of approach, and necessarily the results will also and always be the different. But it's important to surrender the habit of certain results, right? Surrender a habit of certain outcomes. Surrender even an attachment to things happening in the same way. Having an attachment maybe to a person, or again in a healthy relationship, or just, to things going in a certain way. If you are, for example, creating space for lots of new relationships, you may need to surrender an attachment for continually having somebody around, and maybe even that specific person. We always go to brunch every Sunday, and you may need to let that go, but then you have an attachment to brunch, right? Not the meal itself, but like to the whole experience, the whole emotional attachment, the whole dimension around what that brunch was and how it fulfilled your needs in some way, shape, or form. And so Spirit is saying that your needs are going to be challenged, and your sense that your needs are being met is going to be challenged, and you're going to need to therefore meet attachment to how you've been fulfilling those needs. It's not that the needs are wrong, it's just that you now have the opportunity to change how you have been fulfilling those needs. And now, surrender miracles. I'm not going to read the text either because a different meaning is coming up. And this is really talking about dare to dream, dare to imagine that it can be wonderful, that it can be a miraculous, right? So wherever your understanding leads you to, that new understanding and that new potential, Spirit is telling you to expand it, make it the best potential possible. So if you come to an understanding, let's say for example you change your conception of men or of women, then dare to imagine the greatest woman possible, the greatest man possible, right? The greatest version possible. And this is talking about expansion, because whatever it is, it's always going to be better than what you can imagine. That's the nature of a miracle, right? If you can imagine it, if you can see it, if you can believe it, then it's not quite that. It's going to be something even greater, even better than that. And so Spirit is like daring you, right? Your dolphins, like lead, jump in, Spirit will follow. And Spirit is saying, how big can you make it? How magical, how extraordinary can you make this new potential, this new hope coming into your life? Because I will meet that and I will expand it many, many times over. It's not even tenfold. It's a number that I can't imagine. But it's part of releasing control to allow for something truly miraculous, mind-blowing, awe-inspiring to come in. And Spirit is saying that in this situation you have the potential for the best. So just as you are releasing attachment to the status quo and how things have been, there's an energy asking you to expand openness to the new that can come in and allow it to be as big as possible. And again, that's an aspect of releasing control, because we go back to, well, if I imagine someone that's too great, I could get hurt. I'm going to go back to what I've known. So I've seen people who can be this great. They can be like 10 times greater, right? So let's imagine that. And again, it can feel like protection, but it's your patterns talking, and it's a control pattern that is unfolding that just helps to constrict what can come into your life, and especially your perception and understanding of what can come into your life, which is what Spirit is speaking to in this reading. It's not the reality. It's never, the objective reality. This is subjective. This is your understanding, your conception, your experience that you are owning and making sense of in a way that is going to be truly beneficial for you. Finally, surrender unhealthy relationships. And here we will read the text because it is that straightforward. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. Absolutely, surrender unhealthy relationships. And this is Spirit saying this is going to happen no matter what. When you make this shift, you're shifting your baseline, you're shifting vibration. You're just going to be functioning in relationships in a completely different way. So prepare and be prepared to see, especially the places where it's going to be unhealthy. You're also going to see the healthy, but it's just going to be normal, right? And it's a new normal, but it's normal. This is more kind of shock. To be honest, it's being shocked, like, wow. I remember once, oh my god, I used to have a friend that was really close, and they were telling me about the basically like the love of their life, and they had just had a fight, and they were talking about their love of their life, and there was no compassion. There was no desire to help them because they were in a really difficult position, like as we were speaking. And I was like, oh my god, should I go pick them up or something? And they were like, why, who cares about them, listen to what they did. And it was so shocking to me. It was so shocking to me. I laugh about it now, but in the moment I was like, oh, this is your definition of, this is the love of your life. This is your understanding of love. This is who you are. It was very, very shocking, like a veil being filled. Because again, this person would tell me that they're very loving and very passionate. And again, this is the love of my life, and so on and so forth. So there was nothing they could have done. They were just revealed. And literally that same evening, I had kind of canceled on other friends because this friend at the time had called me like, emergency, we had a big fight and stuff. So I kind of postponed an event with other friends to go support them. I get there, I sit there, and it's basically a lot of self-indulgent and quite mean nonsense. I was shocked, shortened it, left, and then went to dinner with my other group of friends. And they had waited for me. They didn't want to start without me. It was such a lovely, warm, positive night. It's those kinds of things. The contrast was immediate. The universe had set it up. The contrast was immediate. It's those kinds of things that are going to be happening. Spirit is going to show you. The universe is going to show you, the experience is going to show you, and your job is to see and to not keep chasing. Don't keep opening doors that are naturally closing. Don't make excuses. Go into the patterns, right? Don't fight to keep them around. Really allow the truth of the experience to reveal itself. A lot of this is really you managing your own experience of this higher truth coming in, this higher understanding coming in. Really, you can serve it, or you can get in the way. So love, that was the reading. Takeaway: sacred space, and it says, I find peace, security, and contentment when surrounded by nature's beauty. And precisely, this is just going to be something that is going to take you into a much more sacred experience of yourself and relationships. You're headed into a much more beautiful experience of what relationships are, because they're going to be a lot more authentic to you. And that's something sacred, that's something precious, something rare, and something really and truly miraculous. So my love, enjoy it, support the process by all means, and know that Spirit will be with you every single step of the way. So that was the reading. Those were the messages that I have for you here and now. And I'm going to go over and do an intuitive healing for this. Yeah, I want to see where Spirit takes this. So if you want to participate in that, you can check it out over on my Patreon. And otherwise, my love, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your energies, and I'll be seeing you around. Bye!